So you a clown, bro. You know Halloween's over.
What's up, everybody? We're here with Andrew.
Yo, I'm
today
here.
we're,
Damn.
and today we're not horsing around.
Oh man, I could have made that up myself.
All right. So Andrew actually holds the title for the best social media marketer in the world right now. Let's hear how you did it, Andrew.
What do you mean?
I'm just kidding. No, but he did help Ty Lopez at some point, right? With you were his social media marketing guy.
Absolutely, absolutely. I was part of the social media team, helping them with Facebook ads, YouTube ads, and just kind of doing what Todd does. I was with them for about a year and a half, and then I went home for family reasons. But yeah, I definitely have that I guess credential.
Nice. So Andrew's actually here to make the new Chase Lopez, but
yes. I'm trying to implement your courses, man. See what it's about.
So what we're doing is we're going to be going over some of the questions that people have been having in the local course, and Andrew's basically representing the local course right now, kind of going over the different questions people have and he's been having, and we're just going to try to answer as many of those as possible. And then if anybody has questions in the chat as well, we can talk about those. So Andrew, anything else you want to say before we start diving into the questions?
No, but I definitely have a lot of questions because I've been going kind of step by step with what you've been teaching in the local course. So it would be kind of cool just to go through some, that I've implemented. So like some of the hiccups I've been having, I guess.
Totally. All right. Yeah. Let me just try to open up this tab, but I am ready when you are.
Okay, cool. I'm ready. How do you want to start the call? You want to go in the Facebook group first and then do it like that, or?
I mean, well, we're already live. You know that, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. Yeah, so I mean, we could just go in and start answering the questions in the Facebook group, or if you just wanted to start, firing off any questions you have.
All right, cool. So I guess can you take a look at kind of my website and what I've done so far? Because I kind of just looked at your videos and kind of went step by step with what you've been teaching. So I guess if we could do a quick critique with that, and I have like 3 questions in the Facebook group, and then we could transition to the Facebook group after we look at poor media.
Let me open up the screen share. There we go. Oh, okay. So, are you in the Discord channel, Andrew?
No, absolutely not. I don't even know what Discourse is.
You should get in here, man. You can have like live chats with people right here. See this? Let's see. At everyone who's in the live stream right now, and then they can respond like right away. So like Maltunge, I still don't know how to pronounce his name. Can respond to that if you wanted to. But anyways, okay, so we're doing the screen share now, so I'm ready to look at the site whenever.
Cool. Do you want me to send you the URL?
Yeah.
All right, let me go to Facebook and do that. Slide in them DMs, boy.
What's up?
I'm about to slide in your DMs real quick. Right here.
All right. All right, so first of all, you should get SSL on there. I think you were talking about you're going to get that on there.
Today, yes. I have to contact SiteGround.
All right, I don't want excuses. I just want solutions, Andrew.
Got you.
No, I'm just kidding. All right, so yeah, SSL. You just made this. This is like brand new.
Yes, brand new.
Oh, looks pretty good. You're using Hotjar too. Nice.
Oh yeah, gotta get the feedback, man.
Nice. So you got the homepage, restaurant marketing consultant. All right, so is this local?
I'm trying to make it local, at least to New York.
All right, then why aren't you using New York in the title tag?
No good reason.
All right, so first of all, I would start getting the titles tags. What the hell? Okay, so number 1, title tags optimized with locations. And topical seating. So that means like if this is going to say here, restaurant marketing consultants, you should have the location, and then the other place, places around here, other pages should have the location too, or related keywords. So that's what topical seating is, like getting related keywords spread across your site so you can like be recognized as an entity around that subject.
I didn't switch out the homepage for some reason.
And then it looks like You haven't really done any of the actual content yet, right?
I have the homepage done, and I just finished my actual service video. So like you did in one of the lessons you had kind of, if you look at the services or whatever, I have it dropped down in 3. So I'm gonna do the technique where you did, is kind of just shoot the video, which I have done already. And I have it transcribed. It'll be done tonight. Off of web.com.
Yeah, so I would do internal links on the homepage too.
Yes. Yes. So let me ask you a question about internal seating. I remember we had one coaching call and you said it to me, and it kind of didn't resonate until it does now. So I guess if you look at my homepage, which obviously, listening to you and some other SEO experts, you don't really want to. I guess from what I've been hearing, you don't really want to rank for the homepage as you want to do for the content. So my idea was, if you look at my homepage, I have like social media for restaurants, I have text message for restaurants, email marketing for restaurants. Is that kind of like topical seating? Because what I'm going to do is, once I have the content on the service pages, I'm just going to link to each service page from those 3 things.
Yeah, I mean, as long as like those are like relevant things, right? So I don't know what people are mainly looking for when it comes to restaurant consultants in New York, but the best way to do that is just to go Google it, restaurant consultants in New York, and then sort of see like what does their layout look like. So if we go here, and we can pretty much already know their different services pages are going to be all the semantic variations, right? So if we go services, strategic services, design and construction services, operation services. So, I mean, it looks like this would be the related category or the related things. I don't even know. But yeah, you can see like they're ranking with this stuff with like, not even using separate pages. This is a 1-page website.
Yes.
But then, of course, they're probably not ranking for the different pages that they could be ranking for, right? Because it's just 1 page.
Mm-hmm.
So you could pretty much take like similar things here and build out pages around it. And that's what's so great about doing those content breakdowns, is you can just take that content and then just start putting it in your pages.
Yes.
And I like what you did when you actually elaborated more about the area. And like, that's what I made a mistake on. I think I talked about that in one of the videos, is like when I was doing it, I just did like a quick, like, how do we do this? Like, how do we do SEO, or, how do we do social media? But it's really a good idea to like try to add as much things as you can around like different things. Like, how long have we been doing that in Santa Barbara or in your location? How long have we been, or, what makes this special, that kind of thing. So I think there should be like templatized questions that you could ask like on everything, like on every video, and then just answer, which would make it a lot easier.
Yes. Okay, cool.
But yeah, either way, you could use those as your internal links. At first, I don't think it really matters. The way I laid it out in the course is that when you're doing your internal links, at first you just link to like whatever, I think, and then as you start to see what your more valuable pages are through like analytics and where you're getting your conversions from, assuming that you're setting up conversion tracking, you could then link to those pages, the top converting pages, because that would make the most sense, because that's what people are most interested in.
So that's actually a pretty cool idea. So what you would do is you'd find out kind of my competitors in the space and kind of just see what, I guess, services they're offering and kind of build content around that. So, for example, that website you just pulled up, they offer a lot of stuff, but it's on 1 page. And if I build out separate pages, I can rank for that. Now, my question to you would be, what if I don't offer them shit? Because I'm really just offering like kind of the marketing aspect as opposed to other things. Like,
right. Yeah, I mean, like, that's a good question. Like for me, when I was doing the iPhone repair, I knew it was really important to get the topical seating throughout the site so I could rank it.
Yes.
Like with the different content that's related, like we're talking about. So I would put in there like Android repair, because that's related to iPhone repair. I would put in like, tablet repair. I don't actually do this stuff. Like when I was doing the iPhone repair, I never did this stuff.
Yes.
But the fact that I got the related content on there, I mean, it was better for me to rank for this and then tell people, oh, I don't do that right now, than it is to not have the content and be trying to compete with very little content, where it's like having this extra content in here helps me be recognized more as an entity around that subject, right? Because it seems like I do everything around that subject.
Yes.
It also helps with your internal link silos. If you can get like a lot of these pages to start getting link juice, like, for instance, start getting page authority or page rank, whatever you want to call it, and then internally pass that to your homepage and your other main pages, because I link to the homepage on every single one of these pages. Generally, you're going to be adding more value to your other pages. So I've pretty much seen that through content marketing and through creating landing pages, that I've been able to raise my other pages up just by doing like internal linking from those other pages.
Okay. Okay. Cool. Cool. And another idea I had, and I got to fix it because I think when you press some stuff, it goes back to the default version. So I got to clean it up. But an idea I had, I want to run past you is, because I don't really know much about the restaurant industry. It's just kind of like I'm building this business as a case study, so I could kind of show it, like just show that I could build, kind of an agency from scratch, right? What I was thinking, what I want to do to get to know the industry better and to create better content and to actually create some of those pages is I was gonna, and you talk about this a little bit in your Triforcing class, where you reach out to people and you interview them. I was actually gonna like start a quote unquote podcast and reach out to some restaurant owners that are successful in New York and have them write the content for me, as you know, when it comes to some of those topics I don't really know about.
Right. Yeah. I mean, you could totally do that. I've been experimenting with different things on my own time lately. Like, for instance, taking like a video, like these quick videos that I do.
Yes.
That you guys, I don't know if you've seen any of the ones that I've been doing lately, but like I've been doing like just these like 4 to 5 minute videos, and then I've been outreaching to people, asking them if they would like a video of, like, I would do a video for them. So, for instance, say you wanted to get like a link or something, or say you wanted to get more content. So what you could do is you could just take, like, for instance, like a subject like how to rank in Google, and you could make a video like this and then transcribe it, and then you could give it to somebody. But you could say, hey, look, I'll give you like a custom shout out. I'll give you all of the content and the video to put on your site, so you can have some content for your site, and also whatever else. Say maybe you say you mention them with like a discount or something. I don't know, whatever it is. But this way you can start getting links from other sites that are relevant that you would like to, that you're outreaching from. The other thing you could do in regards to what you're talking about in regards to the content, like having other people, say you don't know how to rank in Google, you want other people to write about it for you. You could easily just go to something like Ninja Outreach, or just, like, for instance, start going to like sites that have like an idea about the subject you're talking about, whether you're using like Ahrefs or whatever you're using to find these sites. And then you could ask them, say, hey, look, I was wondering if you could contribute a tip about something, or if they, if you wanted to have them make their own post. But the best way I've found to do this, to get a bunch of collaborations from people, is to do tips around something. Mm-hmm. So, like, even if you did a post around, like, what are the top, marketing tools for, what is it? What is this? It's restaurant marketing consultants. So you could ask other restaurant marketing consultants around the world, what is the best tools for restaurant marketing consultants? And then you get all their tips, right? And then at the end, you can email them and ask them to mention your post in their site. But also at the end, you could take all of those tools, and I actually did this the other day as an experiment, and you can message all those people who have those tools and ask them for a link as well. So, like, a good example of this is like when I did the SEO tools, White Hat SEO tools. Let's see. So that's the other one we want. So I went to all these different sites that was in this that other people mentioned. I didn't even have to find the tools. And then, say, for instance, I found keyword tool. Well, you can use this thing right here. It's called Hunter, and it'll show you all of the emails on the site. You just take that email and then message those people and say, hey, your tool is included in our post. Maybe you could, share it on social or mention it on your site.
Got you. That's actually pretty cool. That's pretty.
So
cool.
You could double down. You hit all these people who give you content, and then you get free content, and then also you can get hopefully links from the people who are actually being mentioned in the post from other people. Yes. And that's a way for you to really streamline the content. There's, of course, a bunch of other ways, but ideally you want to try to get, links and content at the same time versus just content, or versus just links, or versus just social shares, which most people don't think about it like in a omni-channel sort of way.
Mm-hmm. And actually, somebody asked a pretty smart question in the group, and I was, I never thought about it. She said, and we could probably check the group after this for some questions, but she was like, how would you use NAP if you work from home and don't want people to know your address or your phone number and things like that? And that's kind of a question I had as well, because I would probably buy a new number like you did in the training, a cold forwarding number. But she also said, what if she doesn't want people to know her address? What would you suggest then?
Yeah, so I'm actually going to make a video for this because so many people ask about it.
Yeah.
Make video to show people what to do if they don't have an address, because it's not just being asked in the local course, it's being asked like in a bunch of different places. But okay, so a lot of this stuff you just have to think about like from a common sense perspective. So if you have a site, and for instance, it's only a home location.
Yeah.
So like the solution is that, you know, you have two solutions. You either list it or you don't list it. If you don't list it, of course, you're not going to get the same benefit as if you did, because it is really helpful to put it on your site and get, you know, those on-page signals sent. But if you can't, then you're just going to say Santa Barbara. And I did this with like the computer repair location. So if I went here, and this is ranking. It's ranking, looks like #1 here. What I said, oh, here, actually, sorry. The address is on here. It shouldn't be because people are going to walk in there. But what I said before when this address wasn't there is I just said we're located downtown next to major location, major location. So it made it seem like, you know, we're there with the name, with the phone number and the hours and all that stuff. Everything that I could include except for the location. And the only thing I changed is I said, if you'd like to come in, it's by appointment only.
Yes.
So it's a little shady because you're not actually there, right? I mean, if you are next to that location and, you know, you live in a house next to that location, then it's fine. But like, you just have to think about it from a common sense perspective. Like, what would you do if you didn't have this location? You would say by appointment only, and you would just put like a giant, you know, an area that you're next to. Same thing with the citations. If you don't want people to see your website, then try to find, or your address, then try to find citations that aren't going to mention your address. But for the most part, I use citations with my actual home address just to get the citations, mainly because nobody goes to freaking Hot Frog and looks for your business, right? Nobody does that. Yeah. So I just hide it on like the main indexing platforms like Google, Yelp, and Facebook, which you can change those, I think, to service areas. And then on your other citations, you're going to pretty much have to decide whether or not you want to list the address. I think it's probably better to not list the address if you're really that concerned about it than to have inconsistent citations. But I'm still not really too sure on what would be more damaging.
So you can't have like a P.O. box or some shit like that?
So there's a lot of people who say the same thing. I'm going to put that in there. Mention P.O. boxes. So having a P.O. box, you can get verified. And I've had people say, hey, look, you know, I have a P.O. box and it's working. Like, why should I get rid of it? And it's the same thing as PBNs. It's like, well, you're not supposed to do it. If Google finds out, they're removing your listing and all your reviews and all of the work you put into it. So is it worth it? It's a better idea to just, what is it? It's a better idea just to set your home as a service area and not show it on the map than it is to build a listing with a P.O. box. Yeah. It looks like we have some similar questions too. Like Ricky says, you can buy a virtual office for $50.
Where?
But that's kind of the same thing, right? If Google gets those things picked up, I've found the best way. I'm going to put this in here too. Secret way around this is that if you really want a location, I wouldn't do virtual offices, because if somebody else gets, you know, paying for having a virtual office as well, they're going to figure out that you're in the same location to get your stuff removed. Here's how you do it. This is how I did it when I started this computer repair site. Mainly because it's pretty foolproof. There's really no way for Google to know about this. I'm sure there is, but there's just not enough people doing it, because I think I was one of the few people to figure it out. So what you do is you go on Craigslist and you say, I have a job for somebody in, for instance, the location you want to be in. And then they say, okay, and you could actually hire people like this if you wanted to. But you would say, okay, I have a job in Bakersfield doing computer repair. And the people say, okay, and what you can do is you can say, you know, you're not going to get any leads for the first week because we have to, you know, get you enrolled, get everything processed. And what you can do is you can create a landing page on your site and then also say, hey, by the way, we need to get you verified on Google, but we're not going to show your address on the maps. So say even if you keep these people around for a month or two and send them work, you can send them work with AdWords if you're not going to rank right away, which chances are you're not. And then say after 2 months, you got them work, you agreed, you did get them work, but then, you know, you don't want them there anymore. Maybe you want to like do like a pay, you know, rank and rent, or you want to just sell the business once it's ranking. Then you have an actual location where, you know, it's somebody else's address, but, you know, it's a service area. It is kind of sketchy. I know some people might be against that, but I honestly think it's a lot more safe for you. Whether it's more ethical, I don't know, but it is something that I've done in the past, and I haven't, you know, I still have locations ranking in other places because of that.
Okay, cool. You want to answer some questions? I have some questions when you're ready.
And that's pretty much, that was all I was going to say.
Okay, cool. So I have some questions about the location thing since you brought it up. I actually, I know somebody just mentioned Weber's in the live chat comments, and obviously I follow Weber's and their teachings. I actually sent you something on Facebook, a business that they helped rank in different locations. I know you was talking about this in the course about how, you know, maybe you start off local and then you expand, and they did this with this business in a couple locations, but I think it was a little bit contradicting to what you said as far as like tactical. Because what they just had is just like, if you go to the cafes of Dr. Snood, they just have landing pages for each of the locations, but they don't actually have a separate, like, so for example, health and benefits. It's not like, you know, Miami health and benefits, or, you know, New York health and benefits. They just have like a landing page for each location, but the actual website, you know what I mean? Like I guess the structure doesn't follow per location.
Well, I'm seeing all these different locations, right?
Yeah.
What's the problem with that?
I don't really know how. So, for example, something you said that that you were going to teach in the local course is how to maybe start off local, maybe in New York, and then expand and rank in Miami and LA or things like that. I guess I want to ask, are they doing it the right way? If not, what would you change and things like that?
Well, yeah, I mean, I haven't gotten there yet, but like, first of all, you can see here, you know, the title tags are not optimized. It just says orchard. And, you know, you would want to put the actual keywords in there if you're trying to rank that as a location. They're not doing internal link silos. It doesn't even really look like they're doing call to actions. It looks like there's probably not schema markup for these different local businesses. I mean, there's tons of things that I would say.
Yeah.
These are also more location pages, which,
yeah,
you know, you can see these are all organization markups when all these want to be separate local businesses. And then I don't know if these actually have Google My Businesses pointing to them as well. Like if we were to look this up on Google, if this were to actually show up with the Google My Business. Mm-hmm. So Doctor's Mood, Orchard. Also, I'm sure this is probably the only content they have around that location. So there's probably no topical seating or like internal content silos going on here. Like, for instance, having all the different services under Orchard.
Yeah, that's what I was asking. Like, they just had a landing page just for Orchard, but they didn't have anything like specific to Orchard to, I guess, bring those link silos and kind of that contextual linking within the site.
Right. Yeah. So, I mean, ideally what you would do in this situation where you have all these different pages going on is you would have separate, and I'll show you how I was doing it back. And like I said, I will be covering this at some point in the course. This is just like more of the expanding out. We're targeting like just the first county first, and then we're going to expand.
Yeah.
Which is why we went with a different domain instead of like an exact match domain. But you would want to do something where you have your different locations linked to like a main main locations page. So like it would be this site : if we looked at this and then looked at locations, you would have something similar to this, kind of listing different locations. Now, this is not really exactly how you'd want to do it because this is basically a doorway page. But
and we say doorway page, what do you mean by that?
So it's just for the purpose of search engines. You can see it's just links. So you would want to actually expand on this. And then when you go into these, what you would do is on these separate location pages, say for instance, let's go to, let's see if there's one here. No. So these are the SEO pages I made, which if you look up like any of these pages, they're actually ranking and they're really terrible. So like if I looked up, let's just take out like something like this. Okay, well, it's still on the first page. And that's with like just being a doorway page with like duplicate content. This is like the same thing on every page. So this is like without really any unique content, but you can see like what you want to do is you want to make these things unique. Like even with like duplicate content, value content, what I did is I just changed, like for instance, zip codes in the titles and the headers, images with different alt texts, replicating these different areas, internal link silos, and driving directions, that kind of thing. And then I did the same thing like with something more competitive, like search engine optimization, Maryland, which has like 20 or 2,000 monthly searches. I'm #1 for this. And all I did was just include hyper relevant data about these locations. Now that's to rank. In terms of like ranking for Google My Business and other stuff, it's like completely different. So I mean, it's a huge topic, right? We have to talk about like the site architecture. We have to talk about the internal linking, about building out the content, especially if it's really competitive. At certain points, if it's really competitive, you might even want to go with subdomains. So like for instance, Los Angeles, and then have a completely different layout for Los Angeles versus just these landing pages.
Mm-hmm.
Really, in the end, it's like comes down to experimentation. And there's certain benefits you can get from doing certain things. But like I said, the reason why I'm not covering this right off the bat is because it's easier to kind of just target the county, like your county you're in first, try to rank for that, and then just start expanding from there. The best way to do it, in my opinion, is to start with just targeting your county, getting your main services mapped, getting your related locations mapped in that county. And then if you wanted to move on from there, you'd probably create another tab called locations or called, area, whatever else, like cafes. And within those other pages, you'd have like a main page layout like this, except, with way more content, kind of explaining different things about these locations you have. And then in the locations themselves, you would probably actually take these separate locations, which it's probably going to be a county. So like, for instance, say you were targeting San Francisco, you would just be probably targeting San Francisco County. So we'll just say Los Olivos County. So you would take that, and then you would, in your URL structure, which this is way too long here, it would look like this, Los Olivos, and then you would have your separate site or content silo services and then name of service, so that you would be 3 levels down versus the 2 levels down when you're, Santa Barbara services, right?
So that's exactly what I was asking when it came to Dr. Schmood. So they had the services page, the location pages like you suggest, which is okay, this is good. But then the difference between what you're saying now and what they Weber's did with Dr. Schmood was once you click a service. So for them, Dr. Schmood, let's say, Kel Shakes, for example, like it just went to Dr. Schmood / Kel Shakes instead of Dr. Schmood / Miami / Kel Shakes, or Dr. Schmood / New York / So is that what your suggestion is, that once people click a location, that it's then website / location / service?
Yeah. So the first thing is we had the other one go from Santa Barbara services to name of service. The reason why I did that is because if we make everything name of service, if we make everything just services, then anything can be a service, and then it would just be like hundreds of pages down level down from here. So if we like map this out with a content mapper, I can show you Paint online. I don't know if Mac has a Paint tool.
Yeah, we got it.
So here's the thing. So we have the home page right here. This is the top of the site. We got home.
Mm-hmm.
So underneath that, we have services, right? Mm-hmm. So say that's just the layout that we have without the Santa Barbara. It's just services.
Yeah.
So from here, now we have, say we wanted to try to rank for different services for tons of areas around the world.
Yeah.
So every single service area, every single location would all be under services.
Yeah,
so that would be way too many.
Okay.
So the difference is, because we want to look at it, all of this comes back to a standpoint of like what makes sense. If it doesn't make sense, like for instance, you don't want Google to have to crawl 2 pages down and then hit a 3rd level with 50,000 things it has to crawl on that 3rd level, because that doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
If you look at it from this way, where you have Sorry, I'm trying to find something that's, I don't know why they give you this as a default.
Somebody's not an artist.
It's just weird. Like even the color gray, you can't see it. I don't understand like what they're smoking. Okay. So even from this standpoint, so we'll go from the top level, which is home. Oh my God, this is terrible. They just want, oh, they just made it smaller.
Yeah, man. I mean, shit, you keep going. We're gonna cut off the damn Google Hangout.
All right, there we go. Oh, I don't want to brush. I just want, they don't have, oh, here we go. Plain and then increase the size by like 5. Let's see if that works. Okay, cool. Can you see that?
Yes.
I'll make it a little bit bigger. So instead we got the home page here, which is, this is the logical solution. And a lot of this stuff, I guess, but it just makes sense to me. And then we have, let's say, Santa Barbara services, right?
Yeah.
So from there, we now have, say, 8 different services, right? They all go to these 8 different services. So that makes sense, right? Because Google crawls this, they hit the Santa Barbara services because we're internally linking from the homepage to the Santa Barbara services, and there it goes, right? Because when Google crawls something, it hits a page, it crawls the pages it's being linked to, and then it crawls those things. Versus if it hits services and then there was 50,000 things it needs to crawl, do you think it would crawl all of those? No. So, say from here on the home page, we're also linking to our locations. So one of the locations we'll say is Los Angeles. So from Los Angeles, we have Los Angeles services being linked to. Then we have all of those here, right? So say we have 8 services in Los Angeles. We're trying to rank those. So from a URL perspective, we would have either from the, so for instance, say one of our landing pages is locations/Los Angeles. So that's fine. Now, location/Los Angeles, say this was Los Angeles, would be linking to the services in Los Angeles. So within there, we would have services Los Angeles, name of service.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because that all makes sense from like how Google's going to be crawling the structure. So I mean, I know it's really complicated because there's so many different things you could do. You could do subdomains, you could do all that stuff. The only thing you really get as a benefit from doing subdomains is that you get the menu items being linked. Because of course, if you have all these different related locations, it's going to be kind of annoying if you're linking from each location, like county, and then linking to all the services within that, and then all of the names of the services, right? Because that's like 50, that's like, it's not 50, that's like 3 or 4 drop downs down, which is kind of insane. And I don't think it's a good idea to have that many things in your menu items, but you can link to all the services from within that page. And I still think that would be good because you'd still be getting content. It's just that it's easier, in my opinion, to rank like actual subdomains as different entities where you're just trying to, for instance, like do everything, like you're trying to do all of your SEO just around one county on all the main pages. And then the subdomain would be like the same thing. You'd be doing all of your SEO just around one county, but it would be like a completely different website, except it would just say Los Angeles as a subdomain. Mm-hmm. There are certain things you lose from that. Like for instance, the ability to get all of your authority under one domain, because Google recognizes the subdomains as separate entities. But like I said, you kind of have to experiment with it. I think that if you did do the subpath this way, you'd probably be fine doing it like that. It's just under really competitive domains, it's going to be a lot harder, in my opinion, if you're going for people who have just their websites solely around that domain and everything's around that domain, right? I mean, around that location.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
I hope that made some sense.
Yeah, for sure. I think we go to the Facebook.
What?
I think we can go to the group and get some questions from them.
Okay. Somebody said if you have a site set up with the incorrect URL structure, would it be best to fix or keep as it is? Depends on how bad it is. I mean, if it's just like, for instance, using like locations and then name of location, and then maybe an extra thing down, and that's ranking. I think that might be okay, but it just really depends. Okay. Well, they really changed the layout of Udemy.
Hell yeah, they rebranded that whole shit.
What the hell? Wonder why.
It's looking too cheap before. I'm not gonna lie, they look a little bit more expensive now.
That's true. I guess they do.
You feel me?
Okay, let's go to the Facebook. Where the heck?
I think what would be helpful though is in the local course if you kind of expand to maybe from Santa Barbara to some not only just a different county but a different city in general. I think seeing you doing that over the shoulder would be more helpful than any explanation, honestly.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna do that. Like I said, I really want to just get like rankings here first, because anytime we start expanding, like that's the problem, is like it needs to make sense. And I know a lot of people like really want this to like be like this thing where it's like, you know, I want to do this stuff in real time. That's why I'm not like doing this stuff like really fast and just giving you concepts. Like I want to like actually show everybody like how to go from not having anything to then like ranking in these different places after you first rank in your own location, right? Okay, so it's hard for me to find all the questions in these groups. That's why I wish people would go in Discord, because then like if you look in here, whoops, where'd it go? If you look in here, there's like a local course, and people can just ask their questions in here. It's really easy to keep track of.
Okay, gotcha.
Versus in here, it's a little bit more difficult.
One question I had was whether it's local or national. Well, I guess this is more a local question, but one of the examples that you used was a guy. He had the kind of the nap on the I guess the banner on the right hand side, kind of like if you do a blog post, he puts the nap on the right hand side banner. And I know in your Triforcing course and things like that, you teach about content upgrades and things like that. And I know banner's a good place to get people to a landing page to buy a product or opt in or whatever. What's your thoughts on that nap versus a maybe a display kind of banner that brings somebody to an opt-in page? What would you do in a different scenario?
I mean, I would probably try to do both, right? I mean, on the blog post, I don't think you need the NAP on there because it's like more content marketing, and you're probably not going to be targeting like local with your blog posts. So I would say, like, for instance, this guy, you can see here he's doing like the NAP on the sidebar. But then if we were to go to like the blog, I don't even think he has it on. Let's see if he has it here. If you were to go to the blog, what the heck?
What kind of 666 shit is this?
There we go. This is really weird. I can't even.
Damn, Chase, you trying to send subliminal messages, bro. You trying to brainwash us on this damn live.
You know what's going on is they're probably like infecting my computer, so I'll call them.
Right, that's exactly what they're doing. They infect your computer so you go to them and fix it.
That would be smart though. So yeah, so like for the blog, then I would just have like, for instance, this isn't targeting local, right? So it doesn't really make sense to put the NAP there. So I would put like a content upgrade there.
Yeah.
Try to get some like people into some controllable assets, and then get those people to start leaving reviews. So like that's the biggest thing is like in the beginning, like I was talking about in the sandbox video, you're not going to be ranking for probably a little while. So it's one of the fastest ways you can start ranking is to start building reviews to your location. And the way that you can start building like reviews really fast is to start your content marketing, and then grab people in the assets that you're controlling, like a Facebook group or something, or an email, and then reach out and ask them for reviews. So that's what I already started doing. You can see on this location, but even that, Google's not going to budge this for a while. So I'm just building reviews and then responding to them, and then building citations, which I think I'm still waiting on those citations. And then from there, I'll probably start building out the related location pages, do those silos, maybe build out a couple more service pages, and then I would probably start targeting other counties, I guess. And
I know you're not a tremendous link builder, but at what point would you, let's just say this is more of a national thing. At what point would you start like building links and kind of, doing that? 'Cause I know you said Sandbox obviously issue for editing the website, and you want
yeah, so I mean, a lot of the links you're going to be able to get just from the citations that a lot of other people aren't going to have.
Yeah.
I would try to build the links from the content you're making, but then also at the same time, it's really easy, and I was going to put this in the course pretty soon, to just take people's websites, go to something like Ahrefs or like a free tool like Backlink Watch, and all you have to do is just take the people who are ranking higher than you and plug them in.
Like, for example, let's go back to the restaurant, maybe restaurant agency example.
Restaurant agency? Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, you could take anybody in New York, restaurant agency, New York.
And what is your suggestion? Would you rather everybody start locally, even if they have ambitions to go, national, especially if it's a new site? What is your kind of your thoughts on that?
Well, that all comes back to KPIs. Like, are you going to make more money right off the bat doing stuff locally, or do you think you're going to make more money doing it, nationally? Because, like, for me, I knew I was going to make more money if I started targeting a national audience versus a local audience, because my local audience is only so big for SEO. Whereas if I knew all of my audience or all of my sales are going to be, say I was a plumber, I'm not probably going to get a very large national audience going to my tutorials for how to, unclog a toilet. Because that market's probably not as big as people who are looking for SEO tutorials, right?
Okay.
But that's not to say that you shouldn't build your authority nationally, because you can reverse build your local authority by building your national authority, right? Because if you're big nationally, then you're even bigger locally, if that makes sense. So anyways, going back to the links, you can take somebody's domain, like for instance, these people are ranking. You can go to their backlinks, and then you can just export these lists. And one of the things you could do is you could just upload this to Pitchbox or Ninja Outreach and just automatically outreach to these related, links, ask them for links to your site. But it might not be a good idea, for instance, if they, I don't know, aren't good links. So you might want to look through them first, kind of filter through which ones are good, which ones are bad.
And obviously have content for them to link to, right? That way it's not just some spam shit.
Right. So you could try to link them to the homepage. Like I've had people like in the past, like for instance, when I was doing the competitive research for the iPhone repair, I found, there was like a Go Green website, like, Go Green Santa Barbara. And then I just asked them to link to the homepage. But if it's like more content based, I mean, you want to comb through these and look through them, right? But generally, if you can find like some links that these other people are getting, you just want to usually build related links. So like if you can see a lot of their links are basically content based, then you know that you can play the similar game. If you see that a lot of the links are pointing to a homepage or something, and they're like more indexing sites, then you know that you're going to do really well with citations.
What's the best way to do that from Ahrefs or Majestic in a way that's, I guess, not totally time consuming as far as, is it just an eye test, what you would do?
Yeah, so I mean, you could filter by the domain rating, which means like you could see how high rating or authority these pages are, which is a good thing to look at first. Another thing you could look at is like certain things like anchor text. So you could actually see like how these sites are being referenced, and if you can see like it says like local Santa Barbara restaurant and then it's there, then to just take that link, because you already know that the reason why they're linking is because it says like New York restaurant. And you're like, oh, okay, let me go see what this must be, like a site where it's like local and they're listing other sites locally, right? So, I mean, there's different ways to kind of expedite the process. And, one of the ways is just exporting all of the links, emailing them all at once and saying, hey, I'd be interested in giving your customers like a free discount or something at my restaurant. And it's different for every niche, right? You probably wouldn't want to give a discount to your restaurant to, all the links pointing to an SEO site, because a lot of those people are probably not local. They're just other SEO sites probably around the world. So it really depends on your niche, but simply just by going in here and starting to look at what kind of links people are getting, you're going to get an idea on how you can build links yourself and whether or not you're going to need a bunch of links to rank. Like even the iPhone repair, I think I only got like one link that I purposely reached out for, which was that Go Green link. And then other than that, that was pretty much it, and it's ranking fine. So for the SEO example, when I was ranking for SEO, I wasn't even link building. I was just building a bunch of content, and these people had way more links than I did. But it didn't matter because I knew that if I built enough content and enough authority to those pages, I could internally link those pages and then pass authority. So, you know, in the end, do links really matter? They are like a quick way to help, but they're always going to be a liability because you don't have control over them and you don't know if you're going to get penalized from one or another. Whether or not you should be doing it, I think maybe spending an hour or two, maybe after you do all that you can, like in terms of, you know, getting your content going, getting your on-page signals going, building out your related location pages, getting your reviews going, stuff like that, then I think it's a good idea to start spending, you know, a little bit of time going and looking for links that you can start building. But it's usually, for in my opinion, the last thing you want to do.
Got you. So let me drill down a little bit on two things that I heard from you. So when it comes to citations, is citations a link type you would do for any business besides local? So for example, when you said you only reached out to one person for your SEO business, is that excluding citation?
Sorry, can you say that again?
So for example, do you include citations as part of link building, or is citations and link building two different strategies for you?
So citations, of course, you're going to get links out of it, right? But because usually the sites are going to list your website as well, but most of those links are usually no follow links.
Okay.
Some of them aren't. But yeah, I mean, it's all a link building strategy, really, doing the citations. But like I said, the most important things you're probably going to want to start focusing on first is building out your content, building out your on-page, building out your Google My Business, your reviews, getting your internal links going, and then building out your citations and your social signals probably.
And the reason why I asked that is because, like, so for example, we go over the iPhone repair and the SEO kind of business. Now, the reason why I'm asking is because you also have your personal brand, you know, jamereiner.com. Did you build citations to that, or since that's a national kind of play, you said, you know, fuck the citation?
The iPhone repair, I built citations to.
No. Your personal brand, right? So
no, I built citations to that too.
Okay, so what's the benefit of building citations to like a national thing?
I mean, I don't see why it wouldn't be helpful, right? Like, you know, getting your name, address, phone number listed on you know, relevant indexing sites, I don't think is going to hurt your national authority, right? Even Rand Fishkin from Moz talks about how he thinks that they're actually helpful. The other thing is that I do build my Google My Business regardless. So like the Chase Reiner.
Yeah.
So like I am targeting local to a certain point. So I don't see why I wouldn't want to have citations either. I also don't see why, you know, other people wouldn't want to build a location for their business as well, even if they're only targeting national. Mainly because you get a lot of extra real estate, makes you look way more legit. You can drive reviews.
OD legit. It does make you look legit. I'm not even gonna lie.
Yeah, because otherwise it would just be this without it would just be, you know, this.
And how much time do you spend optimizing your Google My Business? Because you're really somebody that I think talks about it the most as far as like Google My Business optimization and kind of using that.
I mean, I don't do like too much stuff like besides what I do in the beginning, which is, you know, building citations, getting a bunch of photos on there. I still upload photos. I'm starting to utilize this post thing now, which is kind of cool, which I kind of like. And
but you be putting your live streams everywhere, bro. Any way you can find somewhere to put a motherfucking live stream, you put that shit there.
Oh, I know, dude. I'm just constantly remarketing this stuff.
Yeah, thanks. So cool. I do have one question though for you, because I as you know, like I am, you know, outside of what I'm doing for myself, running this case study thing that I'm trying to do. I do work for an agency, and I do have a client where I'm kind of stuck on. I wanted to kind of get your opinion on what you would do with this client, you know, including, you know, AdWords and any other thing. So I'll send you the URL right now. That way you can look at it. He's basically an interior designer in the Miami area, but not so Miami area, a little bit outside of it. And I just wanted to kind of just, you know, get your pair of eyes on it and see what you would do. Since we kind of went over the whole scheme of things, what would you do for this website? He's getting pretty good traffic, but he wants a little bit more conversions and form signups and things like
that. Okay. Nick, this guy right here, Nick, he actually was working with Ty, I think. What was it?
I'm working with Ty very soon again.
Nice.
What's up, dude?
What up, baby?
This guy, Andrew, you don't recognize him?
Where would I from?
He used to work with Ty Lopez. He's like in all his videos.
Oh, nice. Yeah, no, I'm not surprisingly a rabid fan. I nothing but respect, but I really appreciate him letting me teach his audience. So.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what's up, bro.
Yeah, absolutely. Cool, dude. Well, I'll let you guys
the motherfucking camera and shit. Nobody want to hear that damn chomping.
All right, let's do it. Where's the site?
It's on your Facebook.
Okay, you see it.
So this dude right here, I would say the only thing that I would just to give you some context. Number one, he's not in Miami, but he wants to rank in Miami. And number two, he's getting traffic, but not so much, not a lot of like I guess inquiries and leads. So that's kind of the two things on him. And obviously he's open to paid advertising and things like that.
I mean, first of all, look how many things are being indexed on his site.
Yeah.
He's got 493 pages being indexed. I don't know how many of these pages are helpful.
Yeah, not much.
So, I mean, I would probably start going through those. I mean, that's the first thing I do when I look at sites is I start seeing what's being indexed. Because generally having a ton of low quality, thin content pages is going to, make it a lot harder to rank overall.
Yeah.
In terms of this guy needing to rank for what he's trying to go for, which is interior design.
Miami.
So it doesn't look too competitive. I mean, you got to check the citations, see what other people are, currently. It's all about competitor analysis. The thing about this stuff is like you don't have to be the best. You just have to be better than everybody else.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you'd probably want to spend like an hour auditing the site and just going through like things like his citations, his let me see, interior design by Steven. Going through like his citations, going through his on-page content or his on-page SEO, what his content looks like, what's being indexed, like we were just looking at, what his internal link silos look like. You can see his homepage has like barely any content.
Yeah.
What do the user metrics look like? What does click-through rates look like? What does conversion rates look like? It's not just a one-set answer. That's why a lot of people ask me like, what do I need to do to rank for this keyword? And it's never just one thing. It's like, and it depends on the market too, right? It could take 2 days of SEO for this guy to rank in this niche versus like trying to target like, SEO in Los Angeles, which could take like months to rank for. Where the hell did that just come from? Somebody just asked me for something. Yeah. So, I mean, like what it really comes down to is like getting an overview. Did you check out the audit video I just made?
Bro, I've seen so many of fucking audits, bro. It's ridiculous.
No, I just made another one, which is like the things you need to do first, like this.
I didn't see that shit. When that dropped?
That was yesterday.
No, I didn't see that either.
Yeah, I would check this thing out because it kind of goes over like what are the most important things to look at first when doing an audit.
Yeah.
And like I said in the video, it really just all comes down to user experience optimization, user intent optimization, and building authority in your niche.
Yeah.
And then everything else is more like technical. But in every case, you should spend an hour just like crawling through this with Screaming Frog, figuring out what needs to be fixed first. And like, for instance, the first thing I would probably do is, besides the content, is get rid of a lot of those, thin content, low value pages.
Yep.
And then the next thing I'd probably do is like start doing internal link silos, passing authority from one page to another. Because you can see that's not happening here.
But that probably has to be one of the most misconceptions, I guess the biggest misconception in SEO is that you need to keep posting dumbass content that's irrelevant.
Yeah, well, I mean, you want to do thought out content, like it should have meaning. Like if you're just posting content just to put content on your website, that's like saying it's really good to eat after you work out and doesn't matter what you eat. It's right. Like, well, yeah, it does. I mean, it's good to eat after you work out, but if you're just eating Twinkies all the time, it kind of defeats the purpose, right?
Yeah.
Now having content is usually better than not eating anything, like having the Twinkies. But if you're just eating Twinkies all the time, eventually, nobody's going to want to look at you because this is a funny analysis, but it's because
Yeah, we're gonna call you Native American Chase now with these fucking analogies.
Just call me Running Water Chase.
Yeah, exactly right. Running Water Chase. Exactly. Yeah, this damn Cherokee over here.
Yeah. But you can see here, like a lot of this is more from a visual standpoint, which is great. But
you
the problem
index a lot of these, right?
Well, no, I mean their main pages. I'm sure they have purpose. Like the best way to really see, man, is go into your search console.
Yeah.
And see what people are clicking on. And then the same thing with like cross-track that with analytics, like see what the top pages are. So like go in here, first of all, go into Search Console. We'll go into, for instance, say Chase Reiner. We're going to sort by the last 90 days so we can get as much data as possible. It would be nice if Google would give us more data, but we can't see it. And then what we do is we just go to pages, boom. Okay, all of these are getting tons of clicks. Great. All right, let's go further down. We'll go down to say, whoops, over here. Well, none of these pages are getting clicks. Let's find out why. Oh, maybe because we're indexing an uncategorized page, and then, for instance, say, oh, well, let's cross-check that because maybe people are looking at the uncategorized pages. Then you would go into here to your analytics. You'd sort by like last couple months. You go into site content under behavior. Look at all pages, and these are all the pages that people are hitting on your site, right?
Yeah.
And if you see those same pages here, they're not hitting them from within your site, and they're not hitting them from search or from Google. Then what's the point in having it, right? Now this could be like the fact that you're just not linking to it. You want to check that too. But in most cases, if they're not receiving traffic from within the site and they're not receiving traffic from without the site or from here, then I would just get rid of those things. There's no value. And then what you do is you take all of the pages that are value, like for instance these, and you go, okay, let me look at this page. It's the home page, right? So I know that this other page is also very valuable, and I can actually cross-reference this by using the conversion tracking and the behavior on my site by looking at the Search Console, if I can find it, Acquisition Search Console. So these are all the pages that are giving me conversions. So if I go here, all goals, boom. You can see that the homepage got me $10,000 in the last 2 months. Now, that's not really true, and some of these conversion tracking things have been messed up. But let's just say, for instance, this page right here got me like 50 conversions, and that's worth like $1,000. Then I would say, okay, this is a really important page. Why don't I link to that from my homepage? Not only is that going to help you get more conversions, but it's also going to help you rank that page higher. Because say, look for this. If I look at this and I look at the queries, okay, well, the main keyword, white hat SEO techniques, it's only in position 13, or we'll say SEO techniques. So you can even use that as your internal anchor text from your homepage and from other relevant landing pages, which you can look at by going back in here. And simply just by looking at your top pages, doing internal link silos from those pages to those other pages that aren't ranking as well, usually will help those pages rank higher. And then you can cross that too by looking at these queries and doing click-through rate optimization as well.
Got it.
I know that was probably a lot, but I talk about the click-through rate optimization if you want to know how to do that here. And then for the no indexing, like I said, all it really comes down to is just seeing what pages are getting traffic and then getting rid of them if they're not really doing anything.
Dope. So I guess my last question for you, since I'm trying to be the best case study in this local shit, what's the next step for the Porridge Media shit?
For the next step?
Yeah, for the Porridge Media one.
I mean, there's a lot that needs to be done still. I would say just keep following. Whoops. I would just keep following what we're doing on the course, man. I would build out the citations. I haven't made the citation reference yet because I'm trying to get this guy to give me a freaking affiliate link.
Yeah.
I don't know why I can't get this.
Yeah, I don't know if it's
Oh, it's probably because you're Sandbox.
Yeah, porridgemedia.com. So it's just that.com.
Let's see. Let's see if you're in the Sandbox. Nope. Well, you might still be in terms of ranking. So step 1, get rid of all these. No index.
No index, all them shits.
Well, I mean, actually, I would just change them so that they make sense. Because those are pages that you want, I think. Yeah, so I mean, I would start doing the internal link silos. I'd start doing the basic on page.
I have an about page. It doesn't look like that, but so for the about us page, what are some critical things? Because I have a video where it's me and my partner, we're talking. So I guess that's good for like, I guess, just on some conversion, like building trust type shit. But what else would you put? I guess would the like NAP be important on this page? Is NAP something you should put in your foot at all page? What are some, stuff like that? Cause I know you put a lot of stuff in your homepage. I personally think that shit's ugly as fuck, but maybe you have something. That's something like some of that stuff you could put on the about page. Like, what do you think about that?
Yeah, so I mean, I just put it there because having the content is going to. Whoops.
Yeah, not this one. The Dory Nuke shit. But that's pretty. ChaseRider.com is pretty. This shit is ugly as fuck.
Yeah, so I mean, I just put it here because like I just wanted to get the content in here. Yeah. The way I did this is I went into, I think you guys saw like cognitive SEO, and then just took the related keywords that it was saying for me to list and then just listed them out. Of course, I probably want somebody in here to like, make this look nice by adding images and doing all that kind of stuff. But for me, I just look at it from a content perspective. I'm trying to get as much content in here as possible to kind of match the average content length that other people are ranking for. And then getting the content relevancy up. And then, as we move forward, the main thing when you first start is really just building out all of your pages. Yeah. So your homepage, your different services pages, your related location pages, your contact, your about, all that kind of stuff.
Yes.
The reason why I haven't continued to build these pages out yet is because I haven't wanted to make the new videos yet because I have to freaking re-edit everything. Yes, but I will be making those soon. And also I'm waiting on the citations, which is the next part. But yeah, so I would say just continue building out all your pages, get the related location pages up, get your service pages up, start doing your on page for your main.
Now you used to use LSI graph a lot, and now you're talking about cognitive. What's the difference as far as that, and why did you make that switch?
Because the LSI graph doesn't actually tell you like how relevant your content is to other content, which the other tool does.
Keywords?
Huh?
It doesn't tell you what's relevant for other pages that's ranking for the same keywords, is what you're saying, right?
Well, it doesn't give you a score. So, I mean, even though it gives you the relevant keywords, which is great, I would rather use some sort of algorithm, which is somewhat, optimized to sort of tell these things.
Yeah.
I mean, I still like LSI Graph. I know other people use SEO Presser, which you can see LSI Graph is partnered with, which does something similar. I just sort of like to get an idea. And a lot of these things you don't need. They just sort of give you an extra little benefit.
I see.
Yeah.
And then all right, so boom, so build out all your pages. And then what was the I guess the general shit you said? So you said when you first start in your sandbox, you just want to build out all your pages, get the citations, get the social cues, and then what was you saying?
Citations. So yeah, so step 1, get your content, get it optimized, do your internal linking.
Yep.
Get your service pages built out. Same thing, make sure there's on page, doing the internal link silos, all that stuff. Get your related location pages built out, your contact, your about, all your main pages. The next step after that is, I forgot to mention the Google My Business optimizations, making sure all the images are there. I would start doing outreach for reviews and start getting reviews to the location with the citations. And then from there, that's when you're going to start doing other things like, setting up your social signals, setting up your schema markup, and then maybe start doing some link outreach and then building out your locations in other areas as well.
I can't wait to see how the fuck you do that shit. 'Cause that shit is still over my head as far as like I guess your correct way of doing it, like the location page. Like I get it. I kind of get it from a conceptual standpoint, but I still have trouble visualizing it. So I can't wait to.
Yeah, like I said, I will be covering it.
You said what, bro?
I said, yeah, I will be covering it in the next couple of videos or in the near future. But Yeah, I think for me, I just have to continue building out this content for the related location pages and then the service pages, which I did end up hiring a writer for a couple of them because I didn't want to create more videos, but then the writer wound up sucking because they were on Fiverr. So I have to remake these videos.
You need to go in Facebook groups and find these poets and shit, bro. You can fucking with these Fiverr motherfuckers.
Because the Fiverr people used to be okay. Like for the iPhone repair, they know what to say, but for the SEO stuff, they have no idea because they don't know what it is.
I don't know what that is.
But in certain niches, it's really fine to hire Fiverr people because like the iPhone stuff is like knowledge that anybody can grab.
Of course.
Sweet. All right. Well, they're saying that you sound like a thug, man.
Well, fuck you. No, I'm kidding. You guys are racist, man.
All right. Well, I'm sorry I can't answer everybody else's questions. I'm going to be posting this in the local group, but hopefully because I'm putting myself on the line, I'm hoping that we're going to be ranking soon, and then hopefully we're going to have a good case study from Andrew as well.
It's a competition, bro. So if I rank before you for my keywords,
well, that's not fair because I'm doing mine step by step in real time.
And actually no. Let's talk about this here because you're doing the I'm following what you're doing. So if I rank before you, then that means there's something going on here, Chase.
What if the niche is different though? I mean, SEO is a lot harder to compete for.
You asking too many questions, man.
Also, I already ranked for this, man. So technically, I won. This is a brand new site.
Man, I'll talk about today going forward.
Man. Well, I was thinking at the end what we would actually do is some sort of test where people can get certified and then become like an affiliate, where it's like I can start sending them. Say they become certified like from the course, like they rank something.
Yes.
I could send them like local SEO leads, and then like we could split a percentage or something.
Boom.
I think that'd be pretty cool. The other thing I was thinking is like at the end we could do like a race where like people.
Like
what?
Like a physical running race, like
no
type of race.
No, like what would end up happening is like at the end, people would be competing with brand new domains again. And then whoever wins a prize or something.
That's funny.
All right. Well, I hope you guys benefited from that. I hope Andrew, you benefited from that.
Absolutely. Thank you.
No problem.